Hello and welcome back. So in the last video we very quickly looked at some of the places where you can get extra content for UMA without having to create it yourself. So we're going to have a look at how to use that in this video. What you'll see here, I've just got a standard UMA in my scene. I've added a couple of bits and bobs to make him look more human and fiddled with his colours, so he's ready to go. You should know how to do that by now. And what I've done is I've imported my little tracksuit pack, which if you look in the description for this video, you will see the download link in there. And when you import it, nothing appears to happen at all. But if you have a look in the UMA folder and go into content, you will see I've created this UMA secrets folder. So this is where all of my stuff is, and typically this is the kind of thing, and this is the location where you will find most assets will import to into this content folder. So watch out when you're updating UMA. You may want to just move your imported content out of the folder, otherwise you'll have to import it all again. But this tends to be where we keep this stuff. So if I open up my UMA secrets folder, I've put it into secret clothing, and again obviously I intend to expand this and give you some more stuff later on. And I've got this tracksuit folder. What I've got in here, and again different artists arrange things differently, I've got a components folder which contains all of the slots and the overlays. So remember, that's the meshes and the textures that are going to be used on here. But right at the front, I've provided a set of recipes. So these are recipes, you can tell by the little helmet icon. These can be dropped directly onto our UMA and used. Inside here, let's just have a little look inside the components. You can see I've got the female track pants, track top, the male track pants and the male track top, and I've got a trainer folder as well. If I try and use one of these items, so let's put the male trainers black. Put them onto here. What you will notice is I get a little warning symbol here. And if I hover over it, it tells me basically that this item isn't available. Now that's strange. I've just imported it. Everything else worked by just dragging it into there. I've got this little warning. In fact, if I click on there, it'll repair the problem. What the problem is we need UMA to know or have a register of all of the items that are available to it. We've just imported this into the Unity project. We haven't told UMA that these files exist. Now, this is something new. I haven't shown you it before. If we head up to the UMA menu and pull it down, lots and lots of different buttons to press. We will look at this in more detail later. But what I'm interested in is this global library window. When I open it up, this fella here is the register of all of the different assets that UMA is able to see when it's actually running. So you can see here that there is a list of slot data assets. Let's quickly have a look. We don't normally need to go in here, but you'll see these are all the different things in there. So female eyes, feet. It's actually got a list or a register of all the items that can be used. Okay, so let's close that back up. So there's the slots, there's the overlays, and these are all the other different things. We've got recipes, collections, things like that. Again, don't worry too much about this until we get deeper into it. Just know that everything that we want to use needs to be listed in here before we can actually use it on an UMA. The easiest way to do that is when you import a pack, I would need to drag all of these recipes up into this area here. I would also need to drag all of the components that are used in these recipes up into here. Well, a bit of a pain that, particularly for this pack, because I've got a lot of stuff in there. So what the clever guys at UMA have done have made it really, really easy. Two options. I can either drag my entire UMA secrets folder into here, and there'll be a little bit of a pause as UMA hunts through every single folder in there and actually indexes all those items. There we go. So that's done. You should see these numbers have changed. So that's one way of making sure that all of my items are imported and available to UMA. The other way is we can say rebuild from project, which takes a little longer, but it looks through the entire assets folder and indexes every single item that we've actually got in there. Okay? So what you should see there is a little message down there which says a duplicate asset. My trainer's black was ignored. Remember how I dragged that recipe over into here and fixed it? Well, that means that was already added. So this is showing you that it doesn't matter if I accidentally add them again. It won't create double entries. It will just ignore them. So really, really cool. Really nice way of actually controlling what UMA can and can't use. So we'll just close that now. So that means all of these lovely components are now available. So these trainers black, let's have a look. If I run my scene, there we go. Beautifully just out of shot there. Let's just have a little look, and you can see my high quality black trainers. They're very shiny. That's my wonderful texture work. And now on my character. Okay. So again, this pack has all sorts of different stuff in. Let's put let's go with these black and white outfits. So I've got a black and white set of pants and a black and white top. Let's run that. And when we see this in action, there we go. It's a nice vest, and again, some nice tracksuit bottoms. Nothing particularly complicated. I'm not that good an artist, but you can see how this works. There's a lot more going on here than is immediately apparent in these recipes, and we're going to have a good look at that. Again, I'm just going to take those black ones off, and let's have a little look. Let's take these black and white track pants off, and let's put the male blue and white ones. There we go. Blue and white, and a blue and white top as well. There we are, and we'll run that. Okay, there we are. You can see I've added a logo to this one as well. Believe it or not, you are looking at the same geometry and the same overlays. This is exactly the same thing. However, using the gift of wardrobe recipes, I've simply recolored them, added another overlay to this particular one to put that logo on there. So I'm reusing these components to make a variety of different pieces of clothing. Okay, so what I want to do is have a little look at doing that. I'll tell you what, just for variety, let's go in and change our character to a female. Okay, lovely. Let's get rid of all of these wardrobe items. One thing that you will notice, this placeholder here, it's just to show you that a character actually is there. There are a couple of options we've got here. We can open this up. We can change the colour of our placeholder. I'm going to go for a nice hot pink there. We can also change the race of our placeholder. It doesn't actually do anything. It's purely to show you, or to allow you to differentiate with little ghosts which UMA is which. But it's quite nice when you're working with lots of UMAs to be able to identify them. Now I've done that, let's go back into the UMA core stuff. No, actually the UMA examples. Let's go into the human female stuff, and let's stick some hair on her, and some female undies. There we are. So hopefully she just look a bit less ridiculous. There we go. Lovely. Right, so let's have a look at her outfits. Again, we'll have a look in my UMA Secrets folder, and you can see I've got the female versions of all of these things as well. So let's have a look at creating some pants. So we've got a grey and pink set here. There you are. And you can see, let's just have a little zoom around there. So it's like a grey costume, and I've got some pink stripes going down it. Let's create our own. So I want to create a new recipe. Let's just do it outside of this lot, just so it's a little bit cleaner. Let's put it down here. I'm going to right click in the project area. I'm going to say create. I'm going to head down to the UMA section, and lots of different folders here, but one I'm interested in is the DCS area. This is the dynamic character system, which gives us our wardrobe recipes. I'm going to add a wardrobe recipe. There is another item here which we'll look at another time called a wardrobe collection. For now, I just want to create a wardrobe recipe, and it'll come down here named new wardrobe recipe. So we're going to call this let's call this F track pants. I think I called them before, track pants, and let's let's just put an X on the end there. What am I doing putting commas in there? Let's put an X on the end there. Lovely. We're going to build our own, and we're going to decide on some colours as we actually go along. So let's have a look in here. So this is an empty recipe, an empty wardrobe recipe. So first things first, we need to tell it exactly what races this wardrobe recipe is going to be compatible with. If I just click on this area, it'll give me a list of all the registered races that were in our global library. I'm going to say I want a human female DCS, and as soon as I click it, it will appear in the list. Because it's the same, I'm going to pick human female, just in case I've accidentally got that one as well. So you can see they're now listed. So this wardrobe item will appear if the race is human female or human female DCS. Okay. Display value is just its name. So I'm going to call this pants. Again, I'm sure you can be a lot more imaginative or elaborate with that naming. The next thing is the wardrobe slot. We briefly had a look at this before, but if we open it up, this will list all of the possible wardrobe slots that this can go on to. Now, this list is customizable. We can do this later. But what these basically are exclusive areas where an item can go. Uma doesn't care what goes where. So I could create a hat and say this fits on the chest. So it would replace whatever piece of clothing was on your chest area, and it would put a hat model onto your Uma, which doesn't make an awful lot of sense. But what I'm just trying to get across is it doesn't matter what your model looks like. Uma doesn't care. All it'll do is if I say that this is, because it's a set of pants, if I say this fits on the legs, when I put this on, it will remove what was previously on the legs and replace it with this. Okay? So this is a leg slot. There are some other things in here, so suppress other wardrobe slots. Again, we can tell it to take off another item. Where you may have seen this in an MMO is for female characters, if they wear a dress, it will typically, if you've got some big heavy armour on your legs, it will typically remove the leg armour so that it doesn't poke through the dress. So that's the purpose of this. We're not going to use that just yet. We've got something hides base slot. Let's have a look at what's in there. This shows all of the actual base meshes that our Uma is made up of. Okay. We are going to use this, but not just now. I want to show you what happens if we don't touch anything. And there is another item here which is replaces, which we can actually put replacement items in here. So, for example, if you wanted to replace the hands with hooks, we could do that. It will remove the hands temporarily and put hooks on instead. Okay, so lots of different options here. We're not going to touch them for the moment, but just so you know what they do. Okay, so we've set our race. We've told it that this item's going to fit on the legs. What we'll do here is drag in our components that are actually going to make this up. So again, let's go into the tracksuit. Let's go into my components. Female track pants I've got, and in here you should see I've got a slot, so I'm going to pop the slot in there. That's the actual mesh, remember. Great, so I've now got the mesh on there. What I need on this mesh is an overlay to give it some texture. I've actually got two overlays to go on here. I've got an overlay which is the base. This is the actual just flat colour. Let's just put that on its own for now. And if you look, I've actually just created this as a white overlay. Alright, so the idea being, if I've created it white, that means I can adjust the colour in here myself. Alright, so that is a very, very basic. We're going to modify this and, soup it up a little bit, but that's a very basic recipe, and that is complete and usable. Okay, so if I wanted to use that on my character, first thing I should really do, I should put it into the global library so that it is recognized by Uma. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to pop it onto my Uma directly. And again, I get this little warning. If I try to run now, it won't work. But if I click this warning, that will add that to my global library. Okay, so let's run and see what I've got. I should just get some white trousers. And there we are. Stunning. Look at that. What a wonderful... I didn't mean to peel that off there. What a wonderful piece of kit that is. What I want you to notice straight away is that... let's just give myself a little bit more real estate here. Is that... yeah... some of the geometry is actually poking through my trousers. This is a problem. Anything that's close fitting, no matter how careful you are with your design, when we do come to modeling, you will find, depending on the animation, you do get geometry poking through. So straight away, that's something we need to fix. Also, it's just plain white, a little bit boring. Let's have a mess around with that as well. So let's go back to my recipe. And let's just open this up and have a look. So to stop the poke through, this piece of clothing was designed to completely cover the legs. So what I can do, I can say I want to hide the base slot of the female legs. So when I run that again, what you should see now, the leg slot has been removed while we have these tracky bottoms on there. Okay, so it's really, really handy way to make sure things don't poke through. Fabulous stuff. Okay, let's change the colour. Let's have these as, I'll tell you what, let's go fashionable. Let's have a nice powdery sort of tealy, bluey colour. Excellent. Okay, run again, and we should have that colour on my track pants. There they are. Excellent. Height of fashion. Little bit plain and boring. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a second overlay. Let's go back into here. So you can see I had my female track pants base overlay, which we actually added. Again, let's have a little look down here. There it is. I'm just going to collapse that one. I'm going to add a second overlay. So this one is the, where are we? The trim. If I add that one to the track pants, you can see I get a second one. This, if you look at the texture, it is the stripes down the top, bottom, and the outside of the leg. So again, I'm going to change my color multiply. What's going to go with that? Let's go with black. Yes. So we've got kind of teal and black. I think that'll look nice. So again, if I run now, I have created an entirely new item of clothing. So yeah, you can see with this, it's very, very versatile. I made this very basic just to show you that it is very easy to actually get lots and lots of different clothing items out of a single pack of geometry. Okay, so that means you now have the power to make as many different tracksuit pants as you like with the pack that I've just given you. And again, you'll find that with all of the packs that are out there. The main reason I'm wanting to show you this, how to create recipes, is a lot of the packs that you will download from the asset store were created for older versions of UMA where this recipe system wasn't in place. So you may find you'll download a pack and it only contains slots and overlays. So it's important for you to be able to know how to construct a recipe out of those slots and overlays and to put it onto your UMA. Okay, so what we're going to look at next time is some more interesting poke through problems, which we're going to use the same pack for. And you'll see when we come to look at the t-shirt, it's slightly different. So we're quickly going to fix that in the next episode. But until then, I hope that gets you going. Go and have some fun. Okay? Thank you very much for listening. And once again, I'd like to say a big thank you to my patrons for making this possible. If you would like to support me, feel free to click that link at the end of the video. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.